KSAT Q&A, a part of the show where we take our questions and your questions to some of the local experts. And this pandemic has certainly taken a toll on the economy, taken a toll on a lot of people's health, but also on some people's mental and physical stability. And we're talking about addiction and the problem of addiction tonight. Evita Morin is the CEO of Rise Recovery. They just had a big groundbreaking this morning that we'll talk about a little bit coming up. But what are you seeing the effects on substance abuse during this pandemic?
Well, our focus is on youth, young adults, and their families. And so we are seeing that those are often underrepresented people in this pandemic around addiction. People don't realize that with kids out of school, having been out of school for a long time, they've got a lack of oversight and more idle hands than normal. And so we're seeing kids get into things that at a more rapid pace than they normally would. And that's scary because they might run into the law instead of in, a detention or something. So the consequences are much more serious.
Ms. Morin, any agency or company has challenges that are unique to them during this crisis. Can you talk to us about how COVID has complicated how you provide your services?
Absolutely. So we are normally a community center. We provide services at no cost to our community who are experiencing recovery or want to experience recovery. And instead of being able to serve them in community, we've completely gone virtual. Now all of our support groups and our peer coaching and even our social activities have become online, virtual, and we're intaking people that way as well. So we've seen the same amount of people, which is alarming, but the need is there. Even though, and we continue to be available by phone, by text, by computer, however you need us, in a way that's socially safe.
But Rise isn't a treatment center per se, correct?
No, we are really the best place to go after treatment. So if anyone has experienced a treatment facility, a high level of care, the hardest part of that is after you leave. You normally have to jump back into, especially if you're a student, a young person, the same people, places, and things that you came from, the same neighborhood, schools, job, and a lot of that might be associated with your use. And so with Rise Recovery, you can come to us and learn how to be amongst other people, other young people who are in recovery, and work with peers, professional peers who have been in recovery for the long term, and build your plan about how to live life in a joyful recovery way.
Everyone is under a lot of stress during this pandemic. Can you talk to us about some of the warning signs to look out for, either something that you may notice in yourself or perhaps in someone else? Talk to us about some of those warning signs that you may think that somebody needs to seek treatment, and then how to go about getting that help.
Right. So for substance use, it can be a slippery slope. I think a lot of it is that pressure. If you feel like you would like to quit because you don't see that it's having value in your life, or the consequences are outweighing the benefits, and yet you still feel pulled, and saying that you're going to commit and then not being able to, if you're finding that the consequences that it's causing more harm than good, and then you're doing it anyway, those are some signs that you might have a problem. You might want to talk to somebody about it. And just get an assessment and see if you need more help than you realized. Talking with other people who've been through it is a really great way to start. And at Rise Recovery, everyone is in long-term recovery. That's one of our peer coaches. So they know the journey and they know how to help you.
What should parents look for? What should they be on alert for in this pandemic?
One is that if you have someone, a loved one in recovery or in addiction, first to take care of yourself, because there's so little you can do about someone who's, really off the deep end and struggling with addiction and the behaviors that encompass that. But, one of the things that our youth point out to us is that the apps, the social apps, the cash apps, the rideshare apps, those are all avenues to find drugs, to purchase drugs, to have it delivered to your door. So pay attention to what's on your phone, on your kid's phone, and what they're using, and also be in relationship with your kid. This is a wonderful time, since you are in isolation and surrounded by family more frequently, to really lean in and find out what your kid's going through, because they need peers. And we've heard more than once that young people they're willing to have bad friends than to have no friends at all, was one of our peer coaches shared with us. And so making sure that they have access to good, healthy friends as an alternative to those negative influences.
On a positive note, Steve mentioned the opening of the facility today. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yes, we're so excited. We have a 2-acre plot of land that we have broken ground on. We will officially be building this summer, a beautiful 22,000 square acre facility, a recovery campus. And, we've lived out of borrowed space for our entire 45-year existence. And the time is now, especially with COVID and with the mental stress at its height, for us to share with community that we are here, that we have a presence in San Antonio, and that we will accept anybody who's a family or young person in Bexar County who needs support in finding that for drug and alcohol use.
There's such a stigma around, getting help. A lot of people realize that that's one of the best and strongest things you can do as an individual is admitting you need help. We have the number on our screen right now, 210-SAY-CARE. Talk about that 24-hour hotline and why people should call it.
So this is a really special helpline. It's unlike any other that exists in that it is a collaborative effort, United Way funded by Rise Recovery, Alpha Home, and Lifetime Recovery, and Pay It Forward, all nonprofits who have covered the lines 24/7, 365 days of the year. And you will reach another person who's usually in long-term recovery themselves and can walk you through what resources are available in Bexar County to you. It's a warm human being on the other side. It's someone who will hear you. It's someone who will help you and get you the help that you need if you're in Bexar County and you don't know where to start.
Evita Morin, CEO of Rise Recovery, thank you so much for your time.
And congratulations on the groundbreaking.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for staying up late with us. We'll be right back.